Welcome to another episode of the Unprofessional Parenting Podcast. I'm Matt.
And I'm Lainey.
And this is our 12th episode. Lainey, how you feeling today?
I'm okay now. I'm better.
Better than what?
Better than I was last night. Better than I was first thing this morning. No,
Resolved
okay.
a little conflict?
I just had to have conversations that generally bring me a tad bit of anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I'm through those conversations and I didn't die,
Perfect.
I feel a lot better.
You experienced a little bit of a win, would you say?
Yes.
There it is. Today, we're actually going to be talking about what it looks like to win as a parent in foster care and adoption.
Yeah.
Before we get there, of course, we have to start the show with a little segment. This segment is called, What Has Been Your Greatest Win in Your Life?
Whoa.
So I know that you're going back through 30-something years of life and achievement and things of that nature. What is your greatest personal win? It could be the greatest, or it could be like most recent that you're just like, yeah, I can talk about that one.
Oh my gosh.
Do you have one?
I'm sure I do. But as soon as you put the word greatest
Okay, I'm sorry.
on it,
Can
it's
you tell
like,
us
how do you pick?
any singular win that you've had in your life that you're like, yep, that was a win?
Oh,
In the W column, you got the dub, if you will, as the kids say.
well, there's also so many different categories of wins.
I'm not going to give you a specific. I just need you to share one thing, like a singular win from your entire life.
I mean, I think the first thing that pops in my mind is like graduating from college, getting a master's degree,
Boom.
getting licensed as a social worker.
That's
that took
huge.
4 years of work through COVID.
That's multiple wins
yeah,
in there.
but that's like academic wins.
Okay. What about like personal, like,
Yeah.
or a win that you've experienced that maybe wasn't your personal win, but you got to celebrate with somebody who was winning? Like, for instance, the Buccaneers winning the Super Bowl a couple years ago, Tom Brady as quarterback, or something along those lines. You know, Florida basketball winning the national championship this past year. Any of those things.
I wasn't celebrating that. That was not a win for me.
I know. Honestly, you were dead asleep. You were dead asleep.
That was not a win for me.
I took a video because I had to watch the game on mute. And it was like midnight before.
No,
it
you
ended.
didn't have to watch it on mute. We have a family room with a television you could have watched it in.
Yeah, but I wanted to watch it in bed. So there's that.
Well, that's the choice that you made.
Anyway, okay. Well, you've shared some great wins from your life. For me, one of my most recent wins, I have some friends that we do trivia nights with at a spot in Largo.
Well, this is what you're going with?
This is what I'm going with.
Okay.
If you know, you know.
Okay.
And we came home with the trophy. We won. I'll put a picture up in the on this video so people can see me with the trophy. But we won trivia night.
I don't think anyone cares about that.
That means a lot. Like, personally, it means a lot.
Okay.
The camaraderie that you get around the table, trying to think of things together. They ask geography questions. We have one of our members of our team wear an entire world map shirt. So, like, we can look on the...
Is that not cheating?
I don't think so. I think it's a work around the rules. There's no rules about what you can and can't wear. But anyway, wins exist all the time.
Yeah.
So today we're going to be talking about what it looks like to win in foster care and adoption. And not so much the wins that you post on social media or the
Right.
wins that get the most clout in the public eye.
Right.
We're talking about the small day-to-day victories that are building blocks fundamental to life change in a kid's life. Can you kind of frame for us what a win personally to you looks like in parenting foster and adoptive kids?
Yeah, my definition of a win has changed drastically since becoming a foster parent.
Yep.
Because the things that I thought were success in kids and the things that I thought were wins as a parent are just, they don't always exist
Yeah.
in the
They
foster
can be
care
different
world.
things. Yeah.
And like, you think of the typical milestones that kids go through that parents celebrate and put on the socials and tell all their friends about, like my kid's kindergarten graduation all the way up to high school graduation. They just got their driver's license. Like these milestones in their life. They got honor roll,
Yeah.
all A's, perfect attendance, like all these things that parents celebrate. Or typically, right?
Yeah.
Like these are the things that you expect,
Yeah.
right? Or the small wins throughout the day when I was just imagining before I became a parent and I was imagining what like a beautiful, perfect family looked like.
Yeah.
Was like your days are just nice. Like
Yeah.
you get along.
There's harmony in the home.
You love each other.
Exactly.
You know, you tell your kid to do something and you give them an instruction, and even if they're like, oh man, I don't want to do that, and then they go do it.
Right.
Because that's a lot of times what I did as a child.
100%. Yeah, foster care and adoption has completely changed the way we define a win.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure you and I both had, preconceived notions going into parenthood of like, these are the wins. And most of that was having our children who are not our biological children, who are in our home, forcing them to comply to the rules and expectations and regulations.
Yeah, I mean, there's no forcing that can take
place.
Right.
Or just molding them into the people that we think that they need to be, because society has created this arc of what a childhood looks like to adulthood.
Yes.
And so completely reframing and retooling what that looks like and redefining what a win is in our home has been so good and healthy.
Yep. I am still every day deconstructing what society has told me a successful child should look like.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
Because our children are not going to fit that mold of what society tells them that they should probably be.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. And that it doesn't make them lesser of human beings. It doesn't make them bad. It doesn't make them like anything. It's not a negative thing.
Right.
It's they had significant struggles in their childhood that have left some pretty deep wounds that they are still trying to heal through. And their, even their prenatal life, their infanthood, their young childhood, all of these things gave them setbacks in certain areas that the success and the win just looks different than a child who didn't have those setbacks in life.
Right. So lowering the bar for what a win looks like.
Well, I wouldn't
lower the bar.
No, I don't think I would say that. No. Yeah, I don't think I'd say lower the bar, because you don't want to. Again, foster children and children who have been adopted are not like lesser or stupid or incapable.
Yeah.
So you're not lowering the bar. You're just redefining the bar.
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it. So like moments and big or small moments where your words and actions have an effect on your child to help them grow or feel loved or to live like as a better human being. Is like a win that we're defining in our home. Like we're seeing wins happen. And here's the thing is like I would be careful also to live life as a foster parent or adoptive parent by the win-loss column.
Oh, yeah.
Or any parent, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Right. So, because like if you put so much on the win-loss, there are weeks that go by, months and seasons that go by where we're like, wow, this was a rough one. And then the next season comes and you're like, I didn't know that life could get much tougher. But here we are. Yeah. And then, but then there's also those moments that are mixed in those seasons that are like, wow, this was so good. So good. And if you live by the win-loss column, you are going to feel like you're living in a roller coaster. Right.
Oh yeah.
And so trying not to live life by the win-loss column, but also really celebrating the wins when they come.
Oh, you have to. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have to train your eye to see what those wins are and call them out in your kids and celebrate them.
Yeah.
Because if you're not looking for it, if you're not redefining what success looks like for your individual child, you're going to miss it.
Right.
And then it's going to feel like you're just taking L's all the time.
Yeah.
When you're not, you're really not.
Right.
You're really not. You're just not redefining wins for you and your child?
Right.
Like, do you have examples you can think of?
Personally, yes, with our kids, the one big one that I think of, I had to set a little bit of context for this, but our middle child, our daughter, our youngest daughter,
Yeah, just sell her out.
I'm not gonna sell her out. I love her. I love her too much. But all of our kids have trauma background and experience life differently and have different social interactions and things and different and very specific needs, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking of how hard it's been for her to create good, healthy friendship, like good, healthy friendship. She always seems to get to a point in a relationship or a friendship where, like the self-destruct button has to be pressed. It's like there's almost too much good that's coming out of it. It's a step in the vulnerable of like I have to open up my life a little bit more than the surface level. Hey, how are you doing? Kind of friendship, right? And that's a scary thing for her, I think. And just living in our house for the past 5 years, we've even experienced that in our relationship with her as well, right? Getting past the, we're not roommates, we're family, right? And so for her, just friendship has been a struggle. Resetting almost every season, but she's had a few really core and good people who have stuck with her through it all, no matter what kind of chaos.
God bless those people.
Yeah, no matter what kind of chaos has been created, either by her or in the situation, in the friendship.
Yeah.
No matter what drama comes around, they've kind of been that backbone like people for her.
Yeah.
But I remember she was having experiences with one person in particular at her school, and she got in the car one day, and we're just driving away from school. I had waited in car line for about 45 minutes.
Matt, we can't digress.
I'm sorry, I can't talk about car line every single time.
We can't talk about car line.
God bless you guys who stay in car line. But anyway, so we get in the car and we're driving home and we're on our way, and something happened at school where a particular individual said something to my daughter, and my daughter, instead of internalizing that and acting upon it or spreading gossip or rumors or starting things and like which would be the normal typical play for her, she went and told a teacher, and she felt the tension because this was a friend at the time, and she felt the tension of like, man, if I say this to an adult right now, this person is going to get talked to by this adult. And now it's going to create more tension in our relationship, in our friendship. But I care enough about what's happening in her life that I want to involve somebody who can help her and not go and do the wrong thing in that moment. And so she got in the car. She explained that moment. She's feeling and wrestling with the tension. She's hurt by the situation, but also just like fearful about what's going to happen next at school, the next day, the next week. And I looked at her and I was like, I am so proud of you. I'm so proud that you made this decision to do something different, to do the right thing, and to tell somebody about what happened at school. So those are wins, right? And that comes from, and that I would say a win would come from a long process of us talking with her about what healthy relationship looks like, what good decision making looks like. And that win is on the back end of a lot of what I would call loss in the loss column, and loss very messy loss column life that she was living prior to that win. And I honestly believe from that moment forward, she internalizes that, sees the good that came out of that situation, and is like, okay, well, I can live life differently now, and I can change the way that the life goes, right? It's those actions and those words in parenting that we're having with her on a regular basis to get her to a place where it's like, there's a different way, there's a different option, there's a different pathway I can choose, and I'm going to choose to do the right thing. It was a beautiful moment. It was a really beautiful moment. I was very, very, very proud of her. Like, very proud of her. It's a good one. I know it seems kind of trivial at sometimes, but those wins, again, you got to celebrate them.
Yeah.
So do you have any wins as a parent?
I'm thinking of a ton. I'm thinking of small ones. That was a really big one.
That's a huge one. That's a big one. Yeah.
I'm thinking of smaller ones. Back to the beginning of our fostering journey. It's funny when you have to reframe wins to your family members or other people outside of fostering. Like, wait, no, I'm actually celebrating this right now.
Right.
Like that's something that
It's like, wait, are you complaining about your kids, or is this like?
Yeah, it's something that another person would look at and be like, wow, that sounds terrible. And it's like, no, this is actually amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I remember one of our kids had such bad tantrums. Just such bad tantrums. I mean, complete meltdowns. I mean, verging on like...
Yeah, you had to throw him into like an ice bath.
Like, do I need to lay hands and pray on you right now? Like, where are we going with this? And I remember they would last for an hour or more of just like crazy levels of screaming and hitting walls and, just...
Yeah, there's
a lot.
There's not a rational thought that can happen or a conversation.
And there was no rationalizing. Yeah. You could not talk to this child. Nope. You could not, we tried every stinking technique in the book to it's okay. Calm back down to earth, turning the switch off in the brain that was setting it on fire. Mm-hmm. Just all the things we were trying. And it's like, oh my gosh, it didn't feel like anything was working. Mm-hmm. And I remember there was one time where the screaming only lasted for 20 minutes.
That's the way.
I remember it so... I know, it's funny. I remember it so distinctly. And I go, oh my gosh. She just regulated in 20 minutes.
Unbelievable.
And then I had to laugh because I'm like, anybody else who would walk into our house and see this scene taking place for 20 minutes would be like, oh my gosh. Is everything okay?
Yeah, right.
There were times when I thought for sure our neighbors were going to call the cops, thinking that we were murdering our kids at the level that she was
in an excruciating way.
Yeah. And I just remember being like, they are reducing in length.
Yeah.
She's able to regulate within 20 minutes now instead of an hour.
Right.
And those types of wins is that's what I mean by reframing the win.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it.
The win that you or bigger society would say is oh, well, she doesn't have tantrums.
Yep.
Oh, well, she just regulates immediately. That's what people think is the win. No. That is not the win in foster care and in adoption when you're talking about trauma. The win is, wow, she used to struggle for an hour, and now she's figuring out how to regulate within 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That's a win.
Yeah.
I think of one of our other kids that just really never likes to be told what to do. Because who does, right? I don't like to be told.
Takes after you.
I don't like to be told what to do either. Somehow I share DNA with all of our children.
It's in there.
Yeah. So he hates being told what to do.
For sure.
Hates it.
Oh my gosh.
And there was a season, I would say probably for the first maybe even year or so of him living with us, never just followed in obedience to a direction we gave him. And it would be the most neutral direction in the entire world. Mm-hmm. I'm not asking you to do something crazy. I'm not asking you to stop playing the funnest game that you've ever played.
Right.
I'm literally just hey, can I sit on this side of the couch and you sit on that side of the couch? And it would be
wait, why are you asking me to sit on that side of the couch?
It would turn into just
an existential crisis.
Where he would just be so upset that you asked him to do something. And I think the funny part that we have realized, and I think he still kind of struggles with this a little bit, it's I think if he just thought about what the actual direction was we were giving him, he'd be like, oh yeah, I have no problem doing that.
Right.
If he were to do it on his own,
sure,
it would be a preferred thing for him to do.
So you got to convince him that it's his idea.
Yeah, but it's it's just the fact that you as an adult are telling him to do it, he's suddenly no.
Yeah.
You could be hey, I need you to eat this whole bowl of chocolate ice cream. Nope.
No, not doing it.
Nope. You just told me to do it, so now I'm not doing it.
Right.
That's the level he's at. But there have been so many times recently where I've given him a direction, and you just kind of, as the parent, start to internally or subconsciously brace yourself.
Yep, you're getting ready for
fight. What you know is next. Right. I'm giving a direction and I know what's going to happen.
Right.
And then he just goes, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And turns around and does it.
Right.
And there have been times where I have just stood there wide-eyed
yes,
he just
happening.
did it. He just did it.
Right.
He just took my direction and just did it.
Yep.
And that's the win. But if you're not looking for it, you're going to miss it.
Yep.
Because if you're providing a direction and he doesn't and you move on with life because that was just super easy, you're going to miss it.
Yeah. Or even just like a simple, in the recognition of the moment, just a simple thank you for your response.
Yeah.
I mean, goes a long,
Yeah.
long way. And it's funny that you share those little tiny moments where we get wins and compliance from our kids for just doing the simplest task.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, this is like, you should say yes to this regardless, right? But it's like pulling teeth to get them to just do the simplest thing without any rebuttal or doing it in their own way, kind of thing, right? Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I know. It's like
It's there, and even after moments like that, it's not like he's been compliant the rest of his life post that, right? It hasn't been like a
oh no, it's not like a sudden 180 turn.
No. He hasn't repented of that, right?
We go right back to
he's
not listening the next.
Yeah,
moment.
we just had a blow up on Monday with him on this, but like it's one of those things where you see it happen in the moment, you recognize it, and this came after again a lot of conversation with us and him specifically about the way that he calling out the way that he's doing something in a wrong manner, in a wrong way, and helping him to get to the place and giving him the words to respond in the correct way, right? It's a work in progress. Like we're trying to work with him this whole time of like, we can get to this place. I just want to see you execute it. Like he knows the words to say. He knows what to do. He just doesn't want to do that. And so like we've been, again, this win has come at the end of a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of conversation that has been spent there. But again, celebrating those moments is something that is so crucial to do, and remembering those moments as well.
Children really need to feel like they are successful in some area of their life. Having someone cheering for you and supporting you and saying, hey, you are just phenomenal in that moment is so important for kids to continue being successful.
Yeah.
I've seen so many times, especially when I worked in the school system, when a kid just continues to get in trouble and get beat down and get discouraged, it becomes who they think they are. Yeah. Like they think they are who you are telling them that they are.
It's a sad place to be.
Yeah, and so you've got a kid that's discouraged thinking like, well, I only get in trouble and I'm only doing things wrong. They're going to continue in a negative trajectory.
Yeah.
You've got a kid who you are celebrating small wins in their life, no matter how small they are, but you're celebrating it and you're pointing it out. Hey, you just had the skills right there to do the right thing. Or look at what you have been able to accomplish. Wow, you were able to calm yourself down within 20 minutes. That's amazing.
Yeah.
What did you do? How can you do that in the future too?
Right.
Like that's celebrating that empowers a child to do it more in the future.
Yeah.
You've got to find the wins. You've got to find the positives. You've got to point them out and celebrate them so that a child's psyche can feel empowered to continue doing it.
And the encouragement for the child and celebrating of the wins specifically. So let's talk about the parent side though.
Okay.
Like there's been times where you and I, again, have closed the door to our bedroom when the kids are asleep and we've talked and debriefed about the day. Yeah. And we've talked about things that we've seen, things that need a little bit of work, wins that we've experienced in parenting. Why do you think it's important that parents not only recognize it and celebrate it in the moment for their kids so they can be encouraged, but why do you think it's important for parents to make mental note in their minds about wins that they're experiencing in parenting?
Oh yeah. I mean, for almost the same reason that I just said about the kids.
Precisely.
Like it's just mentally you have to tell your mind what to think and tell your emotions what to feel.
Yeah.
And the more you focus on the negative, the more you're going to feel negative. And it's just, I mean, it's basic psychology, positive psychology. You focus on the positive things, and that is where
it's a trajectory.
That is where you will go.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Just been so encouraged by again, in the moments where we feel like complete failures as parents, and just having a moment in the day where it's like, wow, maybe what I'm saying is actually working.
Yeah.
Maybe the actions and all the attention and all the intention that I put into a moment or teaching one of our kids about something specific is coming to fruition right before my eyes.
Yeah.
Like there's something happening deep within their mind that's causing them to react differently in a specific situation. And it's like, wow, okay, the things I'm saying do matter.
Yeah.
The actions that I'm doing on a daily basis do matter. The words that I say absolutely have value. Every single moment that you have with your kids is valuable.
Yep.
It's valuable.
I really encourage people to put very practical things into practice when it comes to remembering your wins as a family and remembering your child's successes and the good moments. I recall a woman when we were beginning on this entire foster journey, very wise older woman in my life, and she was talking to me about how I was just struggling with feeling really defeated in my relationship with the girls. And I'm like, I'm just finding it so difficult to be positive because it feels like I'm just surrounded by so much negative all the time.
Yeah.
Like it feels like we aren't connecting. I could just list out a ton of things that I felt was failing.
Yeah.
Whether it was me failing, them failing, just the situation failing, like whatever it was.
Failing, yeah.
The system, everything.
Yeah.
And so she said to me, she's like, well, you're at such a disadvantage as a foster parent because when a biological parent has a teenage daughter who looks at her and says, I hate you, and runs to her room and slams her door, that mom has the memory of holding that little girl in her arms as an infant and looking into her eyes. That mom has the advantage of remembering her first steps.
Yep.
Of remembering when she took her to kindergarten for the first time. I'm going to get emotional thinking about this. A biological mother has such an advantage in those dark moments because they have the memories to help push them through the dark moments.
Sure.
Like you have so much good that you can look back on that can outweigh, not overweigh.
We got there.
There's so many more good moments that can outweigh the negative that's happening right here in this moment.
Sure.
So what I started doing after that, and I haven't been as good at it as I want to be, but what I encourage other people to do is start journaling the good moments. Write down the good moments. I have 2 notebooks, one for each girl. And when I have these moments and I'm feeling these just like feelings of love and connection, I go in there and I write in the journal and I just write a letter to them. Like, hey, this is what happened today. I'm so proud of you. Like whatever the words are, I'm putting them down on a piece of paper. And those types of things, when we're in our dark moments and I'm like, dang, do I even like this kid? Do I like how are we going to make it through the rest of our time together living in the same house? Those are the moments that I can look back on.
Yep.
I don't have baby pictures. I wasn't there for their first steps. I don't have all those things that a biological mom would have, but I do have those notes that I wrote down from our wins.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's been an encouragement to you also.
Yeah.
Going back and reading those things. So, man, I encourage you, foster parents, adoptive parents, reframe in your life as a parent what a win is. Don't lower the bar. Just think of it in a different way. Define it differently. Chronicle those wins, celebrate those wins, and use it as fuel to parent in the future. Because, man, there's a lot that goes into life. There's a lot of brokenness. There's a lot of hurt. And those wins can be something you can fall back on to just provide encouragement for your life. So, yeah, it's been a great episode.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your favorite wins of your life.
Yeah.
You did so good. Well, this has been Matt
And Lainey.
with the Unprofessional Parenting Podcast. We will see you on our next episode.